guys, my name is Jemmy. Today we are going to walk through one of the 3 beginning 4-man dungeons of ESO, which stands for Elder Scrolls Online. The name of this dungeon is the Banished Cells, located within the Aldemary Dominion Zone and in the map of Auridon. The recommended level is from level 12 to 15 with a group setup of a tank, a healer, and 2 DPS. However, it can be completed without a tank. As for the mobs, the type of monsters housed within the Banished Cells are mostly skeletons and the Daedric that range from level 12 to 16. The types of weapons that they use are a variety. They have some archers, they have some swordsmen, I believe they have some sorcerers. Actually, in this dungeon, they do not have any healers, so you don't have to worry about these ads getting healed by their healers, but in higher dungeons, they do. So if you are starting off in this dungeon and you're kind of around that recommended level of 12 to 15, then with your other group mates being around the same level, I suggest that you probably keep together within a group, try to help each other out as much as you can. For most of the times, a lot of their skills, such as like the archers who stand in the back and do that wide conal attack, or the ones right there where they're shooting down arrows, you can go in front of them and kind of interrupt them, so that kind of knocks them out of that animation. So that in that sense, it kind of helps your group. Also, you want to be close or nearby the healer so that the healer doesn't have to run to track you down to heal you. So those are small little things that you can do to help your group if, let's say, even if you do have a tank or if you do not. Here is the first boss you will encounter within the Banished Cells, called the Cell Haunter. For this boss, the key tip is to stay apart from each other. But by this, I don't mean extremes where you're on other ends of the room, but more so at arm's length apart, even from your pets. The Cell Haunter does 2 moves that are rotated besides its auto attack. The first one being an ice projectile that travels the ground, and all friendlies that are in the line of attack are frozen and take burst damage. Most of the times, the burst damage one-shots the group, maybe besides the tank. The second skill is a green life-stealing attack that heals the boss but drains whoever the green line is tethered to. It doesn't seem to be interruptible, so just block, activate a potion, and have your healer heal through it. If you are the healer, of course, don't block and just heal yourself. During this time, the boss is focused on the life steal, leaving others in your group to continue trucking life from the boss. I do want to let you know, guys, that besides the boss fights, everything else, I'll go ahead and speed up the clips a little bit, not to the point where it's crazy looking, but just enough to where you're not watching clips of just random long running down the halls or just really extended mob fights. So this is where the second boss fight will take place. Be careful when you arrive into this room, because if you walk a little bit in front, it will activate these set of mobs here. So of course you don't want to run in blindly into the room and then have the mobs spawn and aggro all of them when you're by yourself. So just be careful. Of course, when you activate them, all of the mobs will kind of aggro all together. There's really not an easy way to kind of pull these ads one by one, unless you're kind of like an archer that could pull one. But I believe they fixed it where it will aggro all together no matter what you do. So you're just going to have to muster through these. Make sure that you're near the healer to get the heals. And if you have a tank, you know, the tanks do its job to kind of mitigate some of the damage and take the aggro. There are 2 levers within this room. One is located in the north and the other is in the east. One of the levers will activate the ads, or small little imp kind of ads, such as these in front of you, and the other will activate the boss. So for the second boss, its name is the Shadow Ring. There are 3 main attacks that it rotates. The first one is a Clanfear move where Shadow Reed swipes its tail, damaging and knocking down nearby enemies. This skill does a lot of damage, so best to roll out of the way or just move out of the way, either or, really take your pick on that. The second skill is where it summons a Shadow Ad. If you or your group is lacking in DPS to burn the boss directly, it would be best for both DPS to shift to the ad, then return back to the Shadow Ring. The third is the Shadow Ring's Charge, where it will shed aggro and attack one of your members in the group, knocking them down and trying to devour them. To save your ally from unnecessary damage, run up to the boss and interrupt it. Simple as that. So for Shadow Marine, that is basically all of its skills in a nutshell. Besides its auto attack, all you have to do is really watch out for those red circles if it says it's summoning a red circle, and also the ad, of course. After you beat the second boss, reap your rewards and head out of the second room towards the third boss. Of course, along the way, you'll meet more ad groups or mob groups there. So just travel with your group and clear them as you go. From there, head down the steps. Instead of heading to the right hall, you want to head down the stairs, as you see right there. To meet the third boss. Name Angata, the Clanfear Handler. As the name entails, she summons Clanfears periodically, but other than that, just does normal fire skills that you've probably seen in other sorcery mobs. One of which is when Angata shoots a fireball at an ally. This skill requires a charge. So when Angata is charging the attack, run to her and interrupt her channeling. Secondly is the Pools of Fire. It is easy to figure out when Angata plans to use the pool fires. She'll raise her staff into the air, then 2 fireballs will fly out from her staff and land on the ground, causing 2 separate fire pools. Just move out of the way of the pools of fire because standing in it will cause continuous damage for the duration of the attack. So other than that, that's pretty much it for Angata, the Clanfear Handler. Now be aware that when her Clanfear is out, it will just do the normal Clanfear moves such as the charge and the tail swipe. Collect your rewards from Angata and then retrace your step back up the stairs, and instead this time head left down the hall and then down the stairs. There you'll meet another set of mobs waiting for you. The fourth boss, named the Skeletal Destroyer, is surrounded by those imp-like ads. Aggroing one of the ads will cause the entire room to aggro, even the boss. Once the fight begins, DPS should focus on clearing out the ads as the tank builds hate on the boss. The key tip behind the Skeletal Destroyer is to constantly move around, preferably in a circle. Due to the Skeletal Destroyer's move, where it unleashes a rather large AoE that damages all allies standing in it, even tanks have to kite the boss around to avoid unnecessary damage. The second move it does is to summon 3 skeletal ads. Instead of destroying the ads, ignore them, because after a short while, the skeletons will self-destruct on one person. They do give you enough time to roll or move out of the way from the attack before blowing up. The third skill is a conal AoE that the Skeletal Destroyer does. Only the person standing in front of the destroyer would need to worry about that. So when you see the red conal indicator appear, then that is your cue to roll out of the way, then resume your usual attacks. All you have to do is rinse and repeat these steps until the Skeletal Destroyer is down. At that point, reap your rewards once again and head out of the room on the top left-hand corner down the stairway, where of course you will meet more ads. So we have finally arrived into the final boss room here. Once you head down the steps, you should see a plethora of additional ads. Now these ads play separately from the boss, so you can freely aggro these ads without worrying about going into a boss fight right after. They do kind of give you a break in between, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. All you have to do is clear these ads out so that you could kind of make the field clear, so that when you fight the boss, you will have to only worry about the boss and not anything else. Once the ads in the final boss room are clear, if you look where the little altar is, you should see the final boss appear at that time. He is a sword user and his name is the High Kinlord Rilis. He does several moves, and if you look to see, there is a green orb that flew towards him. That is an important key to remember. He does do several moves that I will mention. But we would like you to take a look at the boss's life right now. So as you see, his life bar is going down, but you see that green orb come from the right to the boss and completely heal almost his life to full. So that is very, very important as to why you should focus on the green orbs that come out. And I did it on purpose, and I let it go on purpose to show you just how important it is. So now that we understand the function of the green orbs, we want to have one DPS in charge of taking down the orbs, as the tank pulls the boss away from the spawn point to create more distance, giving the DPS in turn more time. As for the Kinlord Rilis' attack, there aren't many to worry about. The first one is the blue flame pools. Rilis will point his sword into the air as blue light shines from him. Then on each ally, a blue flame pool will appear, meaning a total of 4 pools. If you continue to stand in it, you will take continuous damage for the duration of the attack. So when you see him pointing his sword into the air, that should signal you to start moving away, but not towards other teammates. The last skill is a single target knockdown, where the boss will target one person and shoot a light orb that upon impact knocks you down. So that's about it for the High Kinlord Rilis. There really isn't much else that you have to worry about, and his tells, or like his indicators, are very, very apparent. I mean, that light is huge. So all you have to do is pretty much rinse and repeat until he is down. And then just collect your bounty, or booty, whatever you call it. So that about wraps up one of the 3 beginner dungeons in ESO called the Banished Cells. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it, and while you're watching it, the tips that I gave you, I hope you are able to apply it and kind of get through it a little bit more easily than you would have, I guess, if you didn't ever watch anything. So if you guys don't have all of the sky shards in the Alredon map where the Banished Cells is located, I do have that video right here for you where you can see it visually on exactly where it is located. If you guys want to see or connect with me on a little bit more of a personal level here, I do have a vlogging channel, and I'll go ahead and leave my recent vlog right over here. If you'd like to stay updated with more of the latest videos as soon as we upload them, go ahead and subscribe with a link on top. And feel free to find me on other forms of social media such as Twitter, Facebook, and more, with all the convenient links listed in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye bye!